Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today I have a very unique opportunity, and that is to do a side-by-side comparison between the least expensive Silverado EV 3WT fleet work truck versus that of an RST First Edition. And believe it or not, there's a nearly $30,000 price differential in terms of their MSRPs on both of these two respective trucks. And even they are in the same exact exterior color, so that even makes the differences stand out even more. So in this video, I basically want to take you around, do a quick walk-around tour, side-by-side comparison, show you both the exterior, interior between both these two trucks, some of the features and equipment that you really are gaining moving up to an RST or just a higher trim level for the 2024 and or 2025 model year, and also dive into some of the specification differences in terms of the horsepower, torque, the overall motor setup, battery sizing differences, stuff like that that you might be also curious about if you're actually planning on to use the Silverado EV as a full-size truck in both the towing, payload, hauling, everything like that, because there are going to be some very noticeable and large capability differences depending on which battery as well as trim level that you do choose. So make sure you guys buckle up, stay tuned here in this video. Today's going to be a very interesting one, and let's go ahead and not waste your time and take a look at what each of these two Silverado EVs have to offer. So take a look at the two trucks in front of me. On my left, I have a 2024 Silverado EV 3WT work truck fleet model, which essentially is a 3WT with some additional hardware and equipment removed from it, with a $6,000 MSRP reduction as well. And then on my right, I have a 2024 Silverado EV RST First Edition, which essentially is a most fully loaded Silverado EV that you can currently get and likely will also carry over for the 2025 model year as well, although they are going to be introducing a slightly cheaper, smaller battery pack version of an RST if you do want that, as well as an LT, and I'm sure additional trim levels as the model years progress. So these two, as equipped, sit just under $28,000 in terms of their MSRP sticker prices, and this one comes in right around $68,900, and this one is just over that $96,000 price point, including destination and everything that they do have to offer. So immediately taking a look at these two trucks side by side, you can see there are going to be some quite stark differences in terms of their design language as well as what equipment that they do offer. Although I have to say, in terms of technology and everything like that, this does still come quite well equipped, all things considered, with some of the 360 cameras and stuff like that, but the RST even builds on it even further. So both of them are going to have LED forward lighting with LED projector headlights, LED daytime running lights, and turn signals, but you can see immediately that the RST is going to add the full length bar that spans across the power trunk lid in the grille area, where the work truck does not. You have the gold bow tie over here where you have the black illuminated bow tie with the RST, and then down below on the front face you can see this is going to be entirely different and unique to the RST, as well as this is all going to be body color or gloss black accents with a more sporty dynamic design language. You have front and rear parking sensors over here on this one, where you only have the rear parking sensors on the 3WT work truck. This one has the, they both have the 360 cameras as I was mentioning, but this one adds the radar for the Super Cruise functionality, where this one over here does not have Super Cruise, just the standard lane keeping assist and things like that. So styling obviously going to be subjective, but I really do like all of the RST enhancements, and very interested to see this truck and some of the additional exterior colors. Now taking a look down the side profile of each of these two trucks, another big difference that you probably already mentioned or saw off the bat is going to be the wheel and tire setup. Now, the 3WT fleet model, as seen here, actually has a 18-inch steel wheel. This is actually even a downgrade, if you will, over the standard work truck wheel, which at least is an aluminum alloy design and looks a little bit better than this one. It's actually a darker painted gray color found on that particular truck over there. I'll go ahead and insert a clip of that wheel. But this is part of that equipment reduction that I was mentioning. So you get a steel wheel, likely just a little bit cheaper. This one is going to be wrapped in a 265/70 18-inch Bridgestone Allensis AS02 all-season tire, so a very familiar all-season across the GM lineup. And it's worth mentioning this is a light truck tire as well. And then moving over here to the RST, this is going to be a 275/50 24-inch machined with gloss black wheel, also a light truck tire, and it's going to be a Michelin Primacy LTX, which you can see does have a little bit of all-terrain tread, but mainly going to be, a nice all-around all-season tire. But you can see, looking at them side by side, you have a 6-inch difference in the overall wheel diameter between this one and that one, and certainly do like the RST's wheel quite a lot better. Now, in addition to this, on the exterior, you have the body color paint match cladding and fender arches over here on the RST, where it's the standard work truck matte black plastic that you see on those lesser vehicles. But taking a look at the mirror caps, you do get the LED turn signal integration, but both trucks are going to have the cameras on the bottom. Silverado badging on both these two, so that is not going to be different. But you can see the work truck fleet model does remove the side steps as well, so you do not get any sort of ingress and egress assistance here on this one, where you do get that on the standard work truck, as well as, of course, comes standard on the RST equipped models. There's a look at the mirror caps on this one. No turn signals, but you do have those cameras for the 360 camera system. And I believe both the mirrors are going to be heated in both these two trucks, and of course does have blind spot detection as well. You have proximity key entry only on the 2 front door handles on the fleet work truck model. And then taking a look at the side profile, not going to be all that different. You have standard matte black trim for the B and C pillars, and it really just goes to show the size difference of those wheels when you look at the side profiles. But moving over here to the RST, you can see all gloss black accents for the beltline window trim, the B and C pillars as well. And then those running boards even do make quite a big difference in terms of its appearance on the side of the truck. Now, coming out back of the RST, the tail lamp assemblies are going to be slightly different as well. This is a partially clear and red accented and even chrome design here on the sides of the LEDs, but full LED lighting here on the exterior. You get the animation functionality for both the front and back of this vehicle. So while you walk up or walk away from it, the tail lamps as well as the front lighting will do a little bit of an animation. RST badging on the multi-flex tailgate, black bow tie, of course. Rear backup sensors, a slightly different bumper design as well with your integrated side steps. On each of these two, of course, they come standard with the trailering equipment and trailering package, as both the two trucks can tow quite a bit of weight with your 4-pin, 7-pin, and even additional trailering accessory plugins. There's going to be a look at some of the cameras and the multi-flex tailgate. We will go ahead and take a look at the bed in each of these two trucks in a second. Soft roll-up tonneau cover as standard, as well as the multi-flex mid-gate that comes on the RST automatically with your cameras up there for the bed view, as well as the digital rear camera mirror. And then walking over here to the 3WT work truck very quickly, again, you can see the differences in terms of the body cladding and trim. The LED tail lamp assembly is all red instead of the clear and chrome accented design. And then you can see the rear backup sensors. The non-painted bumper, just the plastic design with the integrated trailering hitch, does have a slightly different plug-in, just the standard 4-pin and 7-pin trailering, no camera accessory plugins. And there you can see the full regular size tailgate, the non-multi-flex design with the integrated gold bow tie. Do still have the nice backup camera with the pull down release for the tailgate. It is at least an easy open, easy lift design with your WT badging on the passenger side of the truck itself. So gonna be some big differences in the overall design here, taking a look at these two trucks side by side, or even if you just see one or the other by themselves. You guys have to let me know your preference in terms of its appearance down in the comment section below, but I'm sure a lot of you guys will prefer the RST sitting over there and how they look. And then one last look here inside the WT with no cameras up here near the third brake light, as well as the LED bed lighting. You just have a fixed tinted rear glass with, it looks like, the heating elements inside for those cold winter months. So taking a look first on the interior of the 3WT, it's essentially going to be, very similar design and overall space in the cabin, but there's going to be some big feature and material differences. So starting out here on the door panel, it's pretty much going to be an entirely hard touch plastic door panel with no real soft touch materials. You still do have power windows, mirrors, and locks with the automatic. None of the windows are actually automatic up. They're just all 4 automatic down. You have the satin chrome door handle pull, 6-speaker audio system, as well as a very good amount of door storage, given these are fairly large doors. Coming to the driver's seat, it's just going to be a fully manual driver as well as passenger seat. It doesn't even have height adjustments, so they're both going to be 4-way manual seats. But it does have the Evotech synthetic leather material on them as standard, which is very interesting, as one might expect cloth, but that is actually not the case for the Silverado EV. And there's gonna be a look at the dashboard with the steering wheel, of course, just a hard urethane design, and certainly gonna be some differences in terms of the screen sizes and the overall technology. So here in the interior of the work truck, you can see immediately it's gonna be a totally different design in terms of the screen sizes and some of the technology, as well as, like I mentioned, the overall material differences. First up, you have rubber floors inside of this truck, so certainly going to be more durable than that of traditional carpet, especially if you're on a work site, job site where you're tracking mud, dirt, or other debris inside of the truck quite frequently. Now in front of the driver, you have, I believe, an 8-inch display digital cluster, very similar to that of some of the other recent GM products. Has the same overall UI design language as trucks like of the Colorado and some of the other GM SUVs, such as the Chevy Trax and the Chevy Trailblazer. This is going to be controlled here on the right side of the steering wheel. So as you can see, you have your battery percentage, speedometer, as well as your power output and regenerative braking, stuff like that that we are quite used to. Pressing that button gives you a slightly different layout and actually makes the speedometer change location. You have your audio screen, and then pressing it one more time, you have your safety systems as well as driver assistance technology, as well as an even simpler display right there. And then going back to the full display, as you can see. Urethane, hard plastic steering wheel. On the left side, you have your regular cruise control, as well as your forward collision avoidance, as well as distance settings. You can see it does have the gap adjustment right there. I believe it has the camera-based adaptive cruise control, but no radar or anything like that, and just the normal ping pong type lane keeping assist systems. And then you have your audio multimedia on the right side with just the basic black plastics at the bottom. To the left of the steering wheel, we have your electronic parking brake, tow haul mode, lane keeping assist, power front trunk, so that is still found on this vehicle, gauge dimming, gauge illumination, as well as your integrated trailer brake controller. Good to see that as standard equipment. Black accented vents. These are going to be the same overall design, just much more monochromatic. And then your wipers are found up here, as well as your gear selection on the stalk, which we have started seeing in many new vehicles, both on the electric side as well as the gas side from General Motors. Now coming across the dashboard, you can see much, basic in design with its, hard touch textured plastics. You can see this is actually the location where the heads-up display goes in the RST, but obviously this one being basic and not having it, it is missing that, but interesting to see the cutout and everything like that is still located up there in the dash. And then coming over here to the head unit itself, this is going to be roughly an 11-inch digital gauge cluster, or digital infotainment, excuse me. But what's interesting about this system is it does still include wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay with this screen size. So it still has Google integration, still has Amazon Alexa, but it's interesting how GM puts Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in some of their EVs, but not all of them. It comes down to ultimately which infotainment screen size the system does have. This has been the case for Hummer EV, Cadillac Lyriq, Silverado EV, and stuff like that. But vehicles such as, Blazer EV, Equinox EV, they simply don't have the availability of Android Auto or Apple CarPlay at all due to their screen size. But the Silverado EV does, based on its trim level. As I mentioned here on the system, so it has many of these same camera views, but not quite all of them, and very similar technology as a whole, which I've showcased in other vehicles here on the channel. AC vents down below, you still have dual zone automatic climate control, which is great to see with your very large center console area. USB ports down here, no wireless charger, but that would normally be found in this cubby. And you can see just how deep and accessible all of the storage space is. What I'm noticing is all of the plastics on the inside a little bit unfortunate, but you do have your proximity key fob with built-in remote start, as well as the power front trunk. Cup holders up here. This does slide in the RST, but it does not appear to slide in this particular truck, which is interesting. So fixed in place cup holders. And there you can see the center cubby with no USB-C charging, which is found in the RST in this location right here. But a good amount of overall storage, and a Evotex rubberized faux material on the center armrest. Up top you have a black headliner, some of the microphones and stuff for the infotainment system, LED vanity illumination, manual dimming interior rearview mirror, overhead LED lighting, OnStar SOS, passenger airbag, stuff like that, which we are used to seeing inside trucks. And of course, no power sunroof or any additional accessories like that is offered in this particular trim level. Now, jumping into the second row of the Silverado EV, no matter the truck that you're looking at, the first impression you might have is just how large and how much space is available is quite impressive. So again, materials as far as the door panel go, follow through from the front, so do have a good amount of storage, but all hard touch plastics. But you can see the amount of second row legroom, as well as, you know, just the available passenger room is insane in this truck. And stepping inside, it's really not going to be an issue at all. There's going to be a quick look at the front dashboard. Out back, we have cup holders up here, AC vents, which is great to see on the cheapest, most affordable model, although this is not exactly a cheap vehicle. But you do have USB-C charging down there, as well as a 120 volt outlet inside of the cabin itself, with a good amount of storage down below. There you can see the mat pockets on both of the two front seats and the rubber floors that run throughout the truck itself. The seats and stuff are very comfortable, have a good amount of cushion and give to them on the seat bottom. No center armrest, unfortunately, but it would not be hard to fit 3 people or average sized adults across the back row, given its overall width and size. You can see even the middle passenger does have an adjustable headrest. No sliding rear window or anything like that, but you do have overhead LED lighting with, you know, hooks for storage or other, you know, hangers or anything like that. And beneath the floor itself, there is going to be a fold-up second row seat. So simply like that, locks in place like that design from General Motors. And this one does not have any sort of underfloor storage, although I guess there is just a little bit back there for the very back, you know, if you need to throw straps or other, you know, roadside toolkits in there. You know, just the amount of space is quite impressive in the Silverado EV lineup. Now, stepping inside the RST, well, immediately materials throughout the cabin are going to be much, much nicer. So here on the door panel, you can see the design is pretty much identical, but you have this area right here, all soft touch leather materials with the red and blue accent stitching. You even have RST kind of embossed in the leatherette material up top. Chrome accent door handle pull, as well as the 2-person memory seats with your power lock and unlock. Power windows, power folding mirrors, as well as, you know, your power adjustments for the mirrors. Both 2 front windows are going to be fully automatic up down. There's the Bose 7-speaker premium audio system with some nice darkened chrome trim around that, and then the same amount of lower door storage as well. So taking a look at the driver's seat, this is going to be the power driver's seat with 4-way adjustable lumbar. And there you can see the leather material with the perforations in the center, the red accent piping, as well as the blue accent stitching throughout the actual seat itself. And then there's going to be a quick look at the dashboard with the totally different technology and overall display cluster. So immediately stepping inside the RST, you can see just how much nicer the interior cabin is going to be with the updated technology, the softer materials, as well as the overall feature set. So in front of the driver, you have an 11-inch fully digital and partially customizable display cluster that is found in those upgraded or more expensive trim levels of the Silverado EV lineup. This is still controlled here on the right side of the steering wheel, but you're gonna have a little bit of additional functionality. So pressing it, you can see you have a slightly different gauge layout with kind of a speedometer on the left side, more power meters or tachometer, if you will, on the right side. Pressing it again, you have the Google Maps integration can be displayed on the fully digital cluster like that of other GM models I have showcased on the channel. And then finally you have your driver assistance Super Cruise page with some of that information. And then finally a simplistic layout, which pretty much all GM vehicles do have. And then cycling it back one more time, you have your regular kind of startup theme or page, if you will, inside the truck. Now coming back to the steering wheel, immediately you'll see the LCD, or I should say the LED indicator light at the very top with your eye tracking device mounted on top of the steering column itself. This vehicle does come standard with Super Cruise. The steering wheel itself is going to be heated. It is an RST specific flat bottom design with the dark chrome elements at the bottom, your black bow tie in the middle. There's the heated steering wheel, audio, multimedia, stuff like that over here, as well as your adaptive cruise control, Super Cruise function, gap adjustments, and all the same controls that we are used to on the left side. On the back, you actually have a potentiometer type regenerative on-demand braking paddle. So the harder you press it, the more regen the truck will give you. And I really do like this button. I've actually found it very interesting and, you know, nice to use on a daily basis. You can see me pressing it right there. And then typical rocker switches for your tune as well as volume on the left and right hand side also respectively. Here's going to be your wiper stalk. I'm not sure this truck actually has rain sensing wipers. To the left of the steering wheel, we have your electronic parking brake, the air suspension ride height. This truck actually has 4 different heights, including a parking mode, lane keeping assist, the power tailgate, as well as the power front trunk. This is only a power release tailgate. It does not have a power up down. Gauge dimming, as well as your integrated trailer brake controller, just like that of the work truck. And you can see the vent design over here is pretty much identical to that of the work truck. We have the red accents, gloss black, and different materials, which make it stand out much better. Across the dash, in this halfway portion, if you will, you have some of that colored stitching, as you can see, but this is going to be very similar textured material to that of the Chevy Colorado Z71 door panels, center armrest, stuff like that. I don't necessarily love this material. It is better than having a hard touch plastic, but it would be nice to see a smooth kind of a leatherette material across the entire dashboard in that portion right there. And then out in front of the driver, of course, you have that, I believe it's 10-inch color heads-up display, which you can see is set on the speed right now with your little speed indicator. Very nice resolution and overall brightness and adjustability. But I will say at nighttime or in dimly lit conditions, you can actually see the full box being displayed up on the window, which is something I've noticed in other recent GM products, which is not a very premium design in my opinion. Kind of reminds me of the old school heads-up displays that were found probably 20 years ago, but not the end of the world, and you can turn it on and off if you don't wish to use it. Coming over here to the infotainment system, this is the 17.7-inch, same overall screen and display setup found in vehicles such as the Blazer EV, which of course I've discussed many times on the channel. Actually doesn't even have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay at all, so you have to use the built-in system, which in this vehicle comes with 3 years remote access and I believe 8 years of Google Maps integration. Now for 2025 model year, they're actually moving everything to 8 years of access, so that just comes with the vehicle included. So gone is that 3 years remote access. You just get 8 years of everything, which makes it much more simpler to understand. We still have Amazon Alexa, Google Play Store. You have the automatic smart park or automatic park assistant, phone controls, My Chevrolet, Google Maps, everything like that. And then they did kind of simplify some of these tiles where your drive mode selection is up here, including a tow haul mode. There you can pull up the 360 cameras as well as the rear bed cameras on this truck. And overall, you just have more functionality, including the rear steering, which we will take a peek at a little bit later in this video. Heated and ventilated front seats, which is not found in the work truck. Dual zone automatic climate control. Same physical buttons down below. You do have the wireless charging pad, as well as those USB and 12-volt outlets. And then, like I said, in this truck, the center armrest or center console area does slide back and forth. I have a cup in here, so it's not sliding back. But it gives you a little bit of additional functionality and usability of that storage in the lower console. In my opinion, you do get the Silverado First Edition here badging on the center armrest, which is a very unique touch. Nice to see that they're showing these first adopters a little bit of additional appreciation. And then lifting this up, you do have that storage space with an LED light inside, as well as one additional USB-C charging port down in this area as well. Up top, black headliner, all the usual stuff, a little bit nicer material, LED lighting, microphones, digital rear camera mirror on the bottom. It does not appear to, actually the garage home link's probably located here in the actual infotainment system rather than up here. Overhead LED lighting, OnStar, same, SOS emergency buttons up top. And then this truck comes standard with the fixed tinted panoramic glass roof. Does not have a sliding functionality, nor does it have a shade, which is actually something I am going to mention in another video, but I do not like the fact it does not have any sort of shade because, again, although it's tinted, UV rated, etc., it still does let light through, and at times that can be pretty bright on the eyes. So a little bit of a miss in my opinion, but something hopefully that they can resolve in future model years of this current platform. But yeah, overall you can see much nicer materials throughout the cabin, much more advanced technology as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at the back seat. Now take a look at the second row. Immediately do get the proximity entry on the rear doors in addition to the front, and the materials do fall through from the front seat as well on the door. So you have the same soft touch padded armrest, gloss dark chrome trim around the speaker grille, and then you can see the perforated leather seating surfaces, which is also going to be the multi-flex mid-gate portion that does fold down and do all of this trickery with the underseat mechanisms right there. So stepping inside, step in height is pretty much identical to that of the work truck over there. You can see the carpeted floors down below and the just expansive amount of legroom and interior volume. There's a look at the front dashboard. Out back, nice chrome accented cup holders, rear heated seats, AC vents, and the same 120 volt USB-C charging down there. Mat pockets are going to be identical. You do have a center armrest with more cup holders in this truck, which is always nice to see. You do have fold down headrests in this one rather than the sliding vertical one, so that's actually a different design, likely to do with the actual midgate function. And there you can see the panoramic sunroof, LED lighting, and some of those other latches and levers that do actually help seal up and latch that rear piece of glass in place. So yeah, overall, really, not much different back here outside of materials and some of that functionality. I will say the seats in this truck are just a tad stiffer than that of the work truck with the EvoTex. I noticed that in GM products where the material of the seat kind of, changes the overall comfort and, how much padding is under the seat cushion, but still a very comfortable truck. One I wouldn't mind taking a several-hour road trip in back here, and it's just kind of comical how much room there is in the second row of this particular vehicle. So take a look at the two beds of each of these two trucks. The overall space and cargo volume is going to be quite similar as long as you exclude the multi-flex midgate function that comes over here on the RST. Now the fleet truck does remove the soft roll-up tonneau cover, and also, as you can see, does not include a spray-in bed liner. So just going to be the normal painted steel bed in this particular truck. You still have LED bed lighting as well as 7.2 kilowatts of off-board, onboard power that is available via the 120 volt outlets as well as the 240 volt here located in the bed, the cabin, and in the front truck itself. Obviously not going to have the midgate function, so just a fixed piece of glass with the normal kind of bulkhead for the bed. So 5'11" in depth on both of these two up until that midgate, and of course you can open that on this truck. As you can see, the RST comes standard with the soft roll-up tonneau cover, spray-in bed liner. You do have the multi-flex tailgate functionality, which you can do right there. Fold the additional step down. Obviously there's going to be an accessory speaker kit if you want to get that. And I have to say, this step is actually still extremely high, where at least on the other full-size Silverados, the gas trucks, it seems like it's a little bit lower, but both this step right here as well as the step right here are like within 1 inch in height. So still going to be quite a reach, but I guess it is better that you have it than not having it, because it is, a fairly high load level as a whole. And then obviously I have my electric scooter in there. Make sure to check out that review if you have not already. And I'm not going to demonstrate the midgate function, but like I said, there is going to be additional videos here on YouTube, and I might demonstrate that in a separate video discussing the RST in general. But this truck will have 10.2 kilowatts of available onboard power versus the 7.2 over here. Now, when it comes to the front storage area in either of these two, they're going to be very similar, but how you access them is going to be quite different. Now, on the RST, of course, it's going to be a fully automatic motorized function, where over here on this one, it's going to be a soft close latch, and it is going to be still a power release, but you do have to manually lift it up, and it's just going to be assisted by those regular hydraulic struts. And immediately there's going to be a large amount of front storage and cargo area in either of these, as well as the additional 120 volt outlet with onboard power, roughly 2.4 kilowatts in either of these two trucks with that same plug. You can see there is the roadside toolkit located up here. It's going to be the hard kind of rubberized plastic material. You do have places to set drinks and cups, as well as an LED light and emergency release on the inside, as well as additional tie down points. This one does have additional accessories in it, obviously being the more expensive of the two trucks, including the carpeted floor mats and items such as that. But really no noticeable difference except as to how you actually access it. Like I said, it is going to be a fairly nice, slow motorized version, where over here on the work truck, obviously just lower it like a normal tailgate, and then the truck will actually do the rest. Once you do push it down and latch it into place, it will go ahead and pull it down and do the rest for you. So finally, I want to wrap up this video with some of the most important information when it comes to electric vehicles and trucks in general, and that is some of the motor setup, the motor output in terms of horsepower and torque, the battery size, as well as its trailering and payload information. Now, when it comes to the 3WT Silverado work truck, this was the smallest pack offered for the 2024 model, but I believe there's a smaller battery coming for 2025 in a standard range format. I believe this is referred to as the 20 module battery pack versus the 24 module pack, which is the largest one offered currently and for the 2025 model year. Anyways, this is going to be powering a dual motor electric setup, so one in the front axle, one in the rear axle. It's going to output output 510 horsepower and 615 pound-feet of torque, have an EPA estimated range, or a GM estimated range rather, of 393 miles, and can tow up to 12,500 pounds with 1,750 pounds of available payload in select configurations. So this is a very capable 3WT work truck, and even just a full-size truck in general, despite, you know, the overall weight of the huge battery pack and just the electric vehicle architecture in general. Now moving over to the RST, this truck has the, like I said, what I believe is the 24 module battery pack, the largest one offered for 2024 and moving forward into 2025. So this is going to be the big boy, kind of badass version of the truck, if you will. This one is still going to be a dual motor setup, but with a higher available output with the maximum acceleration performance modes via both electric motors. This has up to 754 horsepower and 785 pound-feet of torque via that launch control acceleration mode, like wide open Watts mode in the Hummer EV. This has an EPA or GM estimated range of 440 miles on a single charge, which is insanely impressive considering everything, the aerodynamic properties, the large 24-inch wheels, etc. And the RST has a available towing of up to 10,000 pounds with a payload of up to 1,500 pounds, again, depending on the overall configuration and specification. Now, between these two trucks, there was actually a 4WT, which is the one sitting actually over there off camera, and that one offers the same size big battery pack as the RST in a more work truck type of format with a little bit of additional equipment. That one actually has the most available range out of any Silverado EV currently offered at 450 miles of range. Again, it has the same 10,000 pound towing capacity with about a 1,400 pound payload, give or take, according to GM's specification sheet. So, overall, as you can see, Silverado EV offers massive battery packs, massive available range, no matter which battery pack that you do choose. We will have to learn more about that standard range pack coming for 2025. But acceleration and overall performance figures out of the RST at under 4.5 seconds 0 to 60 is insanely impressive, given the overall weight and aerodynamic properties of this truck. And I guess that's pretty much going to do it here for this video. So you guys will have to let me know your thoughts and opinions on each of these two trucks and the Silverado EV in general. Do you think the RST is worth the $28,000 price increase, or worth $28,000 more than the 3WT seen in this video? And we do have some more information about the 2025 model year, which I might post additionally here later on in the channel as those vehicles arrive at dealerships, including an available LT trim level and a future Trail Boss, which will be very interesting to see in person how that truck looks, some of the off-road capability, everything like that. But with the available air ride suspension in this one, the adjustable ride heights, this one as is still fairly capable, although it has a fairly thin sidewall with those 24-inch wheels that look quite stunning and street-oriented the way this truck is set up. As it is, the Silverado EV, no matter which way you look at it, has a seriously impressive range of nearly or over 400 miles, depending on the battery size and the configuration you choose. Impressive acceleration, no matter which truck you do get. And the capability is really there at 10,000 pounds of trailering and, roughly the same size payload capacity as that of internal combustion 1500 series trucks. I know these are kind of more on the heavy duty side of things with the 8-lug setup for the hubs and stuff like that. But again, these are quite heavy as it is. So overall, again, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below, which one you would choose if you're in the market for an EV. And of course, I know these trucks are both going to be pretty expensive for the average buyer out there. But when you consider, all the factors, including their efficiency, capability, can charge at home, can charge at DC fast chargers at impressively high rates or quickly, I think it is, a very technologically advanced innovation from General Motors, if you will, much like that of the Hummer EV. So as always, I appreciate continued support here on the channel. Make sure to stay tuned for an additional video here on the Silverado RST, what it's like to live with this truck for roughly 72 hours or so. And as always, I appreciate support. Hope to see you guys in the next one.